Good morning, children. In today's class, we are going to study the next concept is physical properties of metals and non-metals. See, in last class, we have studied what is metals and what is non-metals, and also we have studied the classification of another classification of elements called as metalloids. So basically, all the elements is classifying into three categories: metals, non-metals, and metalloids. So, but majorly we are going to classifying into only metals and non-metals because that is only our chapter. So our chapter heading is materials, metals, and non-metals. So if it comes to the physical properties of metals and non-metals, understand. So this all you know that words in last class I have taught you that malleable, ductile, brittle in nature, lustrous. That's all. So this is only called as physical properties. So metals and non-metals show different physical properties. Understand? Except a few metals are also having some exemptions from the few physical properties. That is all. Which one is exemption? That is most important. So the most important physical properties of metals and non-metals are first one is metals. Let me comes to malleability. It is not for the not for the metals and non-metals. For both, I am keeping you heading at a time. So malleability. If you want, you can write it separately also. So malleability. So if it comes to malleability, so we know that malleability means understanding beating into thin sheets. So let me comes to the malleability, the part one. So metals are malleable. Metals are malleable. You guys already know that in last class I have told you. Metals are malleable in nature. Okay. So what does this means that? This means that they can be beaten into thin sheets with a hammer. They can beaten into thin sheets with a hammer. If any exemption, I will say you have to note it down. If any metal is not showing this property, I will show you that. So if we'll take a piece of aluminum metal, majorly you can see that, place it on a block of iron and beat with a hammer, then we can find that the piece of aluminum metal turns into a thin aluminum sheet. Even you can see that aluminum foil or else aluminum covers. Nowadays we are using for that packing the food. Understanding that aluminum wrappers only, that paper, that aluminum foils only. So this, if you'll take that aluminum and you can keep it in a strong, any kind of strong surface, and if you'll try to hit with the hammer, then we can find that the piece of aluminum metal turns into a thin aluminum sheet without breaking. Understand? So, and we can say that aluminum metal is malleable, or else it will show the property called as malleability. Understanding? So the property which allows the metals to be hammered into a thin sheet is called as malleability. You please note down the definition. They will ask you in exam also. The property which allows the metals to be hammered, not non-metals, metals to be hammered. Metals to be hammered. Understanding? Metals to be hammered into thin sheets. Hammered into thin sheets is called malleability. So malleability is an important characteristics properties of metal. It is a very important characteristic property of metal. So most of the metals are malleable in nature. Understanding? And in that, out of gold and silver are the best malleable metals and can be hammered into very fine sheets or else foils. So they will ask you the best malleable metals. They will ask you the question: gold and silver. Most of the metals having malleability, but highest malleability nature means gold and silver. So they are metals and they can be hammered into very fine sheets or else foils. Understand? So aluminum and copper also having highly malleable metals. For example, if we take aluminum metal can be hammered to form a thin aluminum foils. Like that, if we take copper metal also. So copper metal also can be hammered to form copper sheets. Understand? So if it comes to iron also, iron is also a quite malleable metal which can be hammered to form iron sheets. You can see that iron is turns into iron sheets. We're having most of the applications, industrial applications is running with the iron only, machineries and all. So that is why iron is also quite malleable in nature. It can be also beaten into iron sheets. Understanding? So it is due to the property of malleability that metals can be bent to form objects of different shapes by beating with a hammer. So if not, you cannot make. You can see that most of the ideals, god shapes and all, most of the missionaries, everything is done with the metals, because they can easily bend with, and they are having a property called as malleability. So we can make a different objects of different shapes by beating with a hammer. Understanding? For example, if we'll take it is because of the property of malleability of iron that an ironsmith can change the shape of a block of iron metal by hammering to make a different iron object, such as an axe. Axe, you can see that axe, or else a spade. A spade means shovel, spades. A spade means which will use to remove the weeds. Understanding? So in last class I have taught you that spade means something which is having some kind of extra surface, a very sharp edge which you use to remove the weeds and all. Like that is shovel. Shovel means like what we can say, that like knife. So these shovels and all we used to make with the iron. This ironsmith, he will hit the iron block of iron, and he will make it into different kind of useful products. Like that goldsmith also. So this is all about malleability of metals. Now if it comes to the part 2 subheading, understanding part 2, non-metals are not malleable. Non-metals, we know this already, correct or not? Non-metals are not malleable. Understanding? So if it comes to non-metals are not malleable, non-metals are brittle in nature. They are brittle. So this means that non-metals cannot be beaten into thin sheets with a hammer. So non-metals break into small pieces when hammered. So that is the reason non-metals are not malleable in nature. They are brittle in nature. So if you take carbon is a metal, carbon is a non-metal. So carbon is found in many forms, such as if you take charcoal, coke, graphite, diamond, etc. everything. So coal is also mainly carbon. If you'll burn wood and if you'll get a black kind of substance, it's called as coal. So this coal is also mainly, it contains carbon. So if, or else if we'll take the pencil lead is a form of carbon called as graphite. Understanding? Our pencil lead is made up of graphite. So graphite is one of the form of carbon. So if we'll take a piece of carbon, say it's like a pencil lead or else a charcoal, and beat it with a hammer, what is going to happen? It will break it into pieces. Okay, so we cannot hammer carbon without breaking to obtain a thin sheets of carbon. So carbon is a non-metal which is not malleable. So carbon is brittle. Like that, if we'll take sulfur, sulfur is also a non-metal. If we'll hammer a piece of sulfur, it will break it into smaller pieces. So we cannot hammer sulfur to obtain thin sheets of sulfur. So thus we can say that sulfur is a non-metal which is not malleable. It is brittle in nature. So from this discussion, we can conclude that we cannot obtain a thin sheets by beating non-metals. So when beaten with a hammer, a solid non-metals break it into pieces. Basically, non-metals is existed in solids, liquids, and gases. In last class, I have taught you that. Understanding how many number also I have taught you. How many are in solid state, how many are in liquid state, how many are in gaseous state. So the property due to which non-metals break on hammering is called as brittleness. Understanding? Brittleness, you remember. So the property due to which non-metals break on hammering is called as brittleness. So brittleness is a characteristic property of not for liquid non-metals and gaseous non-metals, because gases and liquids we cannot hammer even. So it is only, brittleness is only for a solid non-metals. Solid non-metals. So this is the first physical properties of metals and non-metals, that is malleability. So metals are malleable in nature, and non-metals are not malleable in nature. They are brittle in nature. Understanding? So this is the first physical property. Like that, if it comes to the next physical property, that is also we know that. That is what? Second one is called as ductility. Understanding? So if it comes to the property, second property, again the same thing. First one, metals are ductile. So what is this means that? This means that the metals can be drawn, or else we can stretch it into thin wires. So I will write metals are ductile. Understanding? Metals are ductile. So this means that we can stretch them, we can be drawn into thin wires. Thin wires is called as ductility. So most of the metals are ductile. Gold and silver are among the best ductile metals. Like that, malleability also gold and silver only. Ductility also gold and silver only. So if we'll take copper and aluminum metal also very ductile, and they can be drawn into thin copper wires and aluminum wires, which are using in electric wires. You can see that basically whatever the wires which we are using in our home, it is made up of either copper or else aluminum. Why can't we use gold and silver? Means they're very cost effective. That is why. Understanding? So even copper wires also compared to aluminum wires, they are very highly cost effective. So if you take iron and magnesium and even including a tungsten metals are also quite ductile, and they can be drawn into thin wires. So iron wires are used for making wire gauges. Understanding? Wire gauges. Okay. So wire gauges, iron wires are using in making a wire gauges. So magnesium wires are used in science experiments in the laboratory. Understanding? So I'm saying you just need to remember electric wires. Basically we use copper wires and aluminum wires like that to make the wire gauges. Understanding? Wire gauges we are using iron wires like that. Magnesium wires we are using in scientific experiments in the laboratory, and thin wires of tungsten metals are used for filaments. You can see that our bulbs of filament inside of some kind of filament will be present. So this filament is made up of tungsten. Filament is made up of tungsten. So tungsten is a metal. Even you can see that filament is very sensitive. It's very thin, not sensitive. Understand? So that is because they are having a ductility property. So the property which allows the metals to be drawn into wires is called ductility. Drawn into thin wires is called ductility. So ductility is another characteristic property of metals. Okay, so from this whole explanation we can say that generally metals are malleable and ductile. They are having both properties of malleable and ductile. Understanding? Like that, if it comes to non-metals are not ductile. You just keep heading, subheading to non-metals are not ductile. So if it comes to non-metals are not ductile, understanding? So this means that the non-metals cannot be drawn into wires. They are easily snapped and stretching. Means if we'll try to stretch this non-metal, they will break it into pieces. So for example, if we'll take sulfur and phosphorus are non-metals and they are not ductile. So when we'll try to stretch it, sulfur and phosphorus, they will break it into pieces and they do not form wires. Understanding? So we cannot get wires from non-metals. So from this discussion, we can conclude that non-metals are neither malleable nor ductile. Non-metals are neither malleable nor ductile. Understanding? Nor ductile. So they are non-metals are brittle. Non-metals are brittle in nature. So this is about the second physical properties of metals and non-metal. Like that, if it comes to the next physical property is called as conductivity. What we used to call conductivity. So this is most important one. You can see that conductivity in the sense of what? Conductivity of heat and electricity. So the third physical properties of metals and non-metals is conductivity. Understanding? So if it comes to the conductivity, we know that metals are good conductors of heat and electricity. So if it comes to the next property is what? Conductivity. So we know that metals are very good conductors of heat and electricity. Metals. Roman number 1, metals are good conductors of heat and electricity. Heat and electricity. So if it comes to metals, so this means that metals allow heat and electricity to pass through them easily without any resistance. Understanding means if you'll give the connection, power connection, electricity, else if you'll give heat, then definitely they will transfer from one side to another side. So we can hold one end of metal spoon. Suppose, let me imagine this is a metal spoon, like a aluminum spoon, in hot water. Then its other end becomes hot very soon. Understanding, because the metal of spoon conducts heat or else carries heat, because the metal spoon can from one end to another end, they can transfer the heat very quickly. So that if you'll try to keep this one end of this in hot water, and if you'll try to hold in other end, definitely you will feel that this hotness is after few it's like a minutes or seconds. Understanding, depend upon the metal also. Few metals they can conduct very fastly, more even fastly, and few metals it will take little bit time. So definitely another end will become, you will feel that hardness because the heat is transforming from one end to another end, because the metals are good conductors of heat. Understanding, so we can say that the metal spoon is a good conductor of heat. Like if we take copper, silver, gold, aluminum and iron metals are good conductors of heat. Okay, so though all the metals are good conductors of heat, silver metal is the best conductor of heat out of all. This is the special case you have to remember. Even though all the metals are good conductors of heat, out of them the silver metal is the best conductor of heat. Best conductor of heat, you have to remember this. So copper metal is a better conductor of heat than aluminum metal. Best one is silver. Like that, if you take copper is also a better, not a best one, better conductor of heat compared to the aluminum metal. So that is the reason, even you can see that the cooking utensils, all the bowls which we are using for our frying pan or else a bowl, milk bowl and all, they are all made of metals, because metals are good conductors of heat. Understanding, so being a good conductor of heat, all the metallic bottom of cooking utensils transfer the heat of gas stove quickly to the food kept inside it. So we cannot hold a hot metal pan directly, because it will conduct the heat quickly to the our hands, causing burning action. So we have to hold a hot metal pan from its handle made of plastic or else wood, because plastic and wood, they cannot conduct electricity. Sorry, they cannot conduct heat. So you can see that all the utensils, every metal is like every bowl, cooking bowl in our home is made up of some kind of metals only. You don't think that, sir, what about the parts made with clay? The clay is also a good conductor of heat, but we are studying only non-metal here, metals. Understanding, nowadays we are not using that. Olden days people used to use that cooking in a earthen pots, we used to call. But nowadays if you observe, every material, every utensil in our cooking house, understanding, what is going to happen, everything is made with some kind of metal. So this metal quickly, kitchen, every metal, it will if you'll keep an gas stove, and if you'll keep something we need to boil or you need to cook, then they will keep the stove on. Then this gas heat will transfer by this metal to the food, and the food will be boiled or else it will be cooked. Understand, because most of the metals are, every metal is a good conductor of heat. Okay, so like that, if it comes to the next one, what is that? Metals are good conductors of electricity. For that, even you can do an activity, the best activity. So let us show some this is regarding what? Conductivity of heat. So if it comes to the electricity, so that the conduction of electricity by metals, either metals will carry the electricity or not. So for that, you just take basically we can take a cell, a torch bulb fitted in a holder, and some connecting wires. Okay, with what we can say, crocodile clips and all. It's like a crocodile clips like this, holding metal and everything. So I will arrange that system also, you just to see that. To test that metals are good conductors of heat. Heat, we know that already. For electricity, we can see. So for that, we have to take some kind of metals connected to, let me take some kind of a battery, some kind of battery system, or else a cell or battery, something you just take. So here I am taking a crocodile clips, which you can see that it will be like a holding like this. So I am arranging some kind of a roller. Understanding? So bulb is glowing now. Just I am saying you. So now another side, I am arranging another crocodile clip. Here also another crocodile clip which is coming from the battery. Okay. So now this is our setup. So let me, this is a cell or else a battery or anything you just you want, you can take. Now you can take a torch bulb fitted in a holder. అది పోయిందిలే చెప్పు. ఏది? సరేలే, సరే. నువ్వు చెప్పింది అంతా వేస్ట్ అయిపోయింది.